Welcome to Minutes That Matter. In this video, we will learn how to install and configure DNS. In our previous videos, we have seen how to install DNS along with Active Directory in a domain controller. In this video, we will learn how to install and configure primary DNS, secondary DNS, and also stub zone. We'll also learn how to test forward lookup zone and reverse lookup zone. To do this lab, I am using three servers: server 01, server 04, and server 05. Now, server 01 is my domain controller with domain name india.com. Server 04 and server 05 are member servers. They are not installed with the DNS service yet. Okay, so let's log in to all the three servers as domain administrators. And let me show you that server 04 and server 05 are member servers. So we can check the details of these member servers in DNS as well as Active Directory. So you can see I got server 04 and server 05 records in my DNS zone. Likewise, I can go to Tools, Active Directory users and computers, and also check server 04 and server 05 are two other clients apart from client 1. Okay, let's install the DNS server role in both the servers. Now to do so, we'll go for Add Roles and Features from the dashboard of the Server Manager. Select DNS, Next, and Install. Let's do the same in server 05. Okay, looks like the installation in server 04 is complete. Let's change the IP settings of the server 04. Now earlier the preferred DNS was pointing to our domain controller, that is server 01 10.1. Now I am changing the preferred DNS same as the IP address of server 4, that is 05. And the alternate DNS is going to be 10.1. We can also assign one more alternate DNS by going to the advanced DNS and add DNS server options. Now I do have a server called server 02 which is acting as my additional domain controller. Now you need not add this option. I'm just showing you how we can add if at all we want to add one more alternate DNS. Okay, looks like in server 05 the installation is complete as well. So let's go for changing the IP settings here also. Now under IPv4 I am going to change the preferred DNS as 10.7 and alternate DNS we are going to add 10.1 and make sure that it is our second preference. Okay, it's done. We'll give OK. Close. Now, if we want to manage DNS server 4 and DNS server 5 from a single window, we can do it. In server 04, open DNS console and then right click on DNS, say connect to DNS server, select your computer name which is installed with DNS in our domain. Now I am selecting server 04. You can see I can access server 04 DNS. Likewise, I am also going to add server 05 There it is. Server 05 is also added to our list. Now we can manage all the 3 DNS servers from 3 different computers in a single window. Now already in server 01, that is our domain controller, we already have a primary Active Directory integrated zone called india.com. Okay, so let's create our own forward lookup zone, a new zone. Now we don't want to integrate that with Active Directory, so we will untick that option. Okay, next click. Let's give the zone name, that is zone1.com. So we'll click next, and the default file name it is going to store as zone1.com.dns. Now you can see we got the 2 default records, SOA and NS. Let's say we'll create 2 host records, say PC001 and PC002 with IP addresses 10.101 and 10.102. Okay, now we would like to check whether this forward lookup zone is working or not. To do that, we can go to command prompt. In command prompt, let's ping with the name of the computer or the FQDN of that computer, that is pc001.zone1.com. Okay, it has to resolve with an IP 10.101. You can see the name is resolved to the IP address. Let's try with PC002. You can see the PC002 name resolved to 10.102. So yes, forward lookup zone is working. Okay, now let's configure a reverse lookup zone in our server 01. Now we'll go with the new zone wizard. We'll keep it primary. Also, let's integrate that with Active Directory. Now notice the replication will happen across multiple domain controllers within the domain india.com. Yes, we are using IPv4, not IPv6, so we'll proceed with IPv4. And the network I am using right now is 192.168.10. Notice we got our 2 default records, SOA and NS. Now let's create some pointers. By the way, we have added multiple computers to our 10. network which got multiple IP addresses. You can see. So let's quickly add all the pointers to this zone. Server 01, client 01, server 02, server 03, server 04, server 05, PC001 and PC002. With that, we are done with all the pointers which are there in this network. Okay, we are done with this. Now, if at all I am creating a new host record, we need not create a new pointer once again. Instead, we can create an associated pointer record. Notice we can enable this option and we can check it in the reverse lookup zone. There it is, 10.103. Okay, so we have learned how to create a forward lookup zone primary zone, and now we would like to see what else we can do with our secondary and stub. So let's go ahead and let's create a secondary DNS zone in server 04. So in the forward lookup zone of server 04, go for new zone wizard, select secondary zone and mention the zone name, that is zone1.com, because that's going to be our unauthoritative zone for the zone in server 01. Now the IP address of the master is 192.168.10.1. You can see it is validated. We'll click finish. Now notice the information of zone 1 or the records of zone 1 are not transferred to zone 1 of server 02. Why? Because we did not enable the proper settings for zone transfer. Notice right now zone transfer is enabled only to the servers listed in the name servers tab. Okay, for now we'll choose to any server and we'll give apply and then OK. Now let's go back to zone 1 in server 04, transfer from master and refresh. There you go. Now we got all the zone information transferred from the primary to secondary. Now because it is secondary, as I said, it is unauthoritative. You can see we don't have new create options. But on a primary or authoritative zone, we have new or create options. Okay, let's try to create a secondary zone in the reverse lookup zone as well. So you know the steps now. 192.168.10, that's our network. And we need to mention our master, that is 192.168.10.1. Now see, I gave by mistake 1.1. Let me change it. There you go, 10.1. Fine. Let's click next and finish. Now let's see if we can get the zone data. Now you know what's the problem. We need to enable zone transfer. So we'll go to the primary server and then select the reverse lookup zone which we have created and enable zone transfer to any server, which is not recommended, by the way, in a public network. You can see now we got primary and secondary for a reverse lookup zone as well. Now let's finally try configuring a stub zone in the forward lookup zone. Okay, zone 1 obviously. Next, and we would like to give the master server name, that is 10.1. Finish. Now see, it is still showing the same error, but we have already enabled zone transfer on the server 01. Let's check. Notice zone transfer is enabled for any server. So let's give it a try by transferring it from master. Refresh and see. Looks like it is taking time. No matter, we'll go with configuring the stub zone for reverse lookup zone this time. There you go. IPv4, network 192.168.10, master 192.168.10.1. And I'm sure it will be validated. Click next and finish. Now notice we got the SOA and NS. Let's try again. There you go. It was just taking a few minutes to update those records. So now we have seen how to create a forward lookup zone, how to create a reverse lookup zone, how to create primary, secondary and stub zones, how to create host records, how to create pointer records, and how to associate pointer records while creating host records. By the way, we did not check our reverse lookup zone, so let's check our reverse lookup zone. And here it is. We can give ping, and if you give just ping and computer name, you will notice that it will respond with the corresponding IP address. Now server 01 is responding with an IPv6 loopback. Okay, let's try one more server. Say server 05 or 4. Notice the name is resolved to IP address when we are giving ping with the DNS name. But if we try the opposite, that is, if we ping with the IP address, we won't be able to see ping resolved, but we cannot see the corresponding computer name. So to see that, we need to add one more parameter called -a. Notice now ping -a 10.5 IP address gives us the host name. Now we can also use one more interesting command called NSLOOKUP. Now NSLOOKUP can be used for both forward as well as reverse lookup zones. NSLOOKUP will provide the information about the DNS server as well as both IP address and DNS name. So NSLOOKUP is a very popular command to test forward lookup zone, reverse lookup zone, and also to test which DNS server is responding. Now we can also check few other commands related to DNS by going to ipconfig and /?. You can see I have few options like flush DNS, register DNS, display DNS, and so on. We can use these commands to perform few other DNS related actions. Okay, so let's go to server 04 and see if those records which we have created from server 01 are visible or not. So I have logged into server 04, going for DNS. Now expand forward lookup zone. Notice we got our forward lookup zone as well as reverse lookup zone. Now let me delete or remove this server 04 and server 05. By the way, you can also explore some more options related to DNS by going to the properties. For now, let me remove these two DNS servers from the list. So I hope in this video you have learned how to install, configure DNS servers, primary, secondary and stub. Also you have learned how to test forward and reverse lookup zones. You have also learned how to manage multiple DNS servers from a single DNS window. I hope this video was informative for you. Thank you for watching.